While the mainstream media refuse to acknowledge it, the stock market don't lie. And Pfizer's stock price plummeted after a story broke that you know about and I know about, but the mainstream media won't discuss. Why could that be? Hello there, you 6 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on a voyage towards truth and freedom with all of its complexity and with all of the constant distraction of a mainstream media machine that wants you dumb and lied to, with a set of establishment interests that want to push their agenda and extract any competing narratives. That's why it's so important that you turn on the notification bell right now, because every day we deliver content derived from you, that is part of our ongoing discourse with you, that requires your contributions in the comments below. Stay with us. You're the reason we make this. You're the reason we're able to make this. It is your power that stops us facing some pretty tricky situations, because we live in a climate now where a story that ought to be everywhere is being suppressed by certain platforms, and I think even this platform will be somewhat censorial about this matter. I'm of course referring to Project Veritas' sting operation on a Pfizer employee, allegedly, in which he revealed all sorts of interesting practices that are allegedly taking place within Pfizer, many of which confirm things that we've thought for a long time. You'll have seen it covered elsewhere online, but why are the mainstream media unwilling to touch it? And if it's not true, why has the stock market responded in the way that it has? And it's weird, isn't it? Because the mainstream media, they're there to tell us information, right? But they're not telling us this information. Could it be for this reason?
Anderson's Weekly brought to you by Pfizer.
No, it can't be anything to do with that. I'm paranoid. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Where's my tinfoil hat? After a record year, because for some reason Pfizer made a lot of money in the last couple of years, drug maker Pfizer stock is down 14% this month, primarily on concern about the likely sales declines for its two COVID blockbusters, the Comirnaty vaccine and the Paxlovid retroviral treatment. 14% is a significant sum of money when you consider that they earned $100 billion last year, so it's hardly a surprise that this video is usually banned on YouTube and you cannot find it using Google. That in itself suggests further affiliations. Were it not for the fact that Elon Musk owns Twitter, you wouldn't be able to watch this video anywhere except for our home, Rumble. Pfizer said in a statement on Friday they have not conducted gain of function or directed evolution research during their COVID-19 research after a viral video posted on Thursday by Project Veritas, a non-profit group, showed an apparent Pfizer executive saying the company had done so. Now, this clip can only really be seen on Twitter, and you know that if Elon Musk hadn't taken over Twitter, you wouldn't be able to see it there either. That's why, I suppose, there was so much establishment sturm, drang, consternation, and outrage about Musk's purchase of that platform. It seems that they want absolute control of this narrative in particular. I think the pandemic has provided us with a lens, an ability to see how power operates, to see that in a world where information is so readily accessible, where communication is so immediate, the necessity to control dissent, to censor, to smear people that are outside of the narrative becomes of optimum value. This evolving story shows us that you can't stop the truth getting out. So you have to smear the truth. You have to continually manage it. I mean, aren't you now at this point starting to recognize how the machinery works? Isn't it like the skin has been peeled away and you can see the sinew and muscular and skeletal function of establishment machinery? Is becoming more and more obvious the more this story evolves. Let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments what you think. The video lasts almost 10 minutes, a large part of which showed a person talking about internal operations at Pfizer. It's really funny, you gotta watch this thing. Apparently it's the third date between the guy in question that works at Pfizer and the person that was dating him. Date one, we're talking about like, what's your favorite show? I don't know, I like Wicked, I like Book of Mormon. Yeah. Second date, what's your favorite fizzy drink? I don't know, I like Pepsi Cola. I like Fanta. Would you tell me now, is your company involved in gain of function research? And when the guy's confronted at the end by Project Veritas, it looks like when you've got a bird trapped in your house. He's just flapping around, wrapped up in the curtains, pooing all over stuff. It goes mental in there, and I actually felt a little bit sorry for him at that point. And he, as a human being, of course, warrants respect and dignity and all of that. This is only of interest to me for a few reasons. Much of the stuff we've been talking about for ages appears to be, on the basis of this interview, a little more verifiable. And also, why aren't the mainstream media talking about it? Why are they not talking about it? The Hunter Hunter Biden thing, held back. This story, held back. This is censorship on an enormous scale. And censorship is a symptom of paternalism. It means we're regarded as children. We're not able to make our own decisions. We're not allowed to be wrong. We're not allowed to make mistakes and go, oh, is that true? No, it turns out that's not true. You can't have a reasonable conversation. Without that, you cannot have trust. You cannot have trust in the establishment if they censor information. And I would offer you this. It doesn't matter if you're way, way, way over on the left or way, way over on the right. It doesn't matter anymore. It's the periphery versus centralized power. We have all got more in common with one another than we have with the establishment at this point. The person also said that COVID-19 is the company's cash cow, adding that the company is trying to mutate the novel coronavirus. According to Project Veritas, the person is Jordan Tristan Walker, Pfizer Director of Research and Development, Strategic Operations, mRNA Scientific Planner. We can't independently confirm the person's identity at the time of this recording. Pfizer didn't admit or deny if Walker is an employee. They didn't mention the video in their announcement either. But James O'Keefe, head of Project Veritas, posted photos and screenshots of what he claimed to be internal Pfizer documents showing Walker's position in the company. If what the person said in the videos is true, some people say it would be a public relations disaster for Pfizer, as many readers would perceive the content as that Pfizer is making new COVID-19 variants in order to sell more vaccines and medicine. That's being alleged elsewhere. I'm not saying that, certainly not on this platform. Join us on Rumble. Let's see James O'Keefe in action confronting this supposed Pfizer employee.
Hey there. Is this seat taken? You work for Pfizer. My question for you is, why does Pfizer want to hide from the public the fact that they're mutating the COVID viruses?
Is this real life? I'm literally a liar.
Is this real life? Seems like it's real life. Yeah, it becomes an amazing video. I'm not sure how much we're allowed to show on various platforms. If we're on Rumble, we're showing all of it. If this is on YouTube, then it's quite likely that it will be censored. But my favourite moments from the video, though I feel some sympathy actually for the man because he sort of seems trapped, like I said, like a bird or like a dog in a schoolyard, just chaotic and like he shouldn't be there. What I enjoy is the way that he had to go from being on a date, well, hello, darling, how's things going, to being like, oh no!
Is this real life?
And him as a person is not really the centre of this story. It's just an extraordinary dynamic that in the end it's human frailty that reveals stuff that many of us have long suspected. And that to me doesn't look like a person who's completely at ease and relaxed. It could be this. Yeah, I work at Pfizer. Yeah, of course, we're just doing our best to make medicines that help people. People were getting tattoos of Pfizer. They were wearing jackets of Pfizer. They were singing songs. They were turning it into like an international cause. But I think at this point, we're starting to see what's been really going on.
I was trying to impress a person on a date by lying.
Instead of saying I'm like a really good driver, I'm good at fighting, I'm incredibly tall, I'm the world's best basketballer. Instead of that, do you know what's going on? We're working on gain-of-function research, as a matter of fact. Allegedly. Sure, maybe it did come from a lab. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. Take your top off.
This is absurd. Please don't touch me. Well, this is not. By the way,
Why are you doing
don't
this?
tell anybody.
This is someone who's just working at a company to literally help the public.
That's right. Just old Pfizer there, literally helping the public, just to help them have their most profitable year in history.
You f***ed up. You really did. Please bring the cops as soon as possible. I'm really very unsafe.
Can you please unlock your door?
No, don't let them leave.
Then it's like a really amazing bit where he locks the restaurant and calls the police, which I think is kidnap, technically. So on top of all of these peculiar allegations about what's been going on in Pfizer, he individually kidnapped someone. Allegedly. James O'Keefe, here he is, he's escaped from the restaurant now.
You just witnessed one of the most remarkable interactions ever. Do we have the iPad? So we're getting into the vehicle now. Where's our car?
I mean, that's also not normal behaviour, to be jumping in front of a car. A lot of the mainstream media apparently won't report this because they say that Veritas is like a right-wing source. Well, so what? Right-wing, left-wing? I think at this point in the argument, it's starting to become clear that there is a centralised narrative around numerous subjects, and there are peripheral critiques that are prevented from being proliferated because they are essentially dissenting voices. And as time goes on around this subject in particular, aren't you now starting to recognise that the information we were given at the beginning of this pandemic, particularly with the vaccine rollout, is questionable in many ways? And for a while, it wasn't questionable. You literally couldn't ask questions. And that is not democratic. At this point, the categories of left and right are irrelevant. We are in the category now of right and wrong. We don't care what your political affiliations are anymore. We don't care if you're criticising Big Pharma and Pfizer in particular because of the profiteering, the stock manipulation, the previous out-of-court settlements and payouts, or because you've got doubts about the way that this vaccine was presented and the subsequent information around excess deaths and adverse information is presented, it doesn't matter anymore. You still have the same enemy. And that, I believe, is a perfect example. That's why we talk about this subject so much. Not because I'm particularly obsessed or care about what medications you take or don't take. I don't care. My particular perspective is I'm mistrustful of government and I'm mistrustful of centralized corporate power, and I'm doubly distrusting of where those interests converge and create some sort of super Ghostbusters stream where the media get involved and you can't even talk about it. That's what interests me. That is what should interest you. Left and right, those terms are dead to me now. Right and wrong are the terms that we need to use. And a new political inclusive movement has to emerge from this because we don't have any voices. What interests us is not the efficacy necessarily of particular products. What interests us is the efficacy of media reporting, is the efficacy of democracy, is the efficacy of the morality that these people claim when they are pushing these products. We've got to help one another. We've got to do what's best for everybody. Well, under those circumstances, how can we have such profiteering? How can we have such extensive censorship? Why are the mainstream media not reporting on this? Why were patents not afforded to poorer countries? There are so many unanswered questions. And the reason that there are unanswered questions is you can't answer those questions without disrupting the interests of the powerful. And it is precisely our job as an independent news organization, an independent social movement, to disrupt those interests, to ask those questions. And we wouldn't be able to do it without you. So whether you're left or right, it doesn't matter anymore. Question the integrity of the intentions of the powerful and open your hearts to one another. Otherwise, we are doomed to atrophy under centralized and undemocratic power with a media that will do nothing to protect us and ask the necessary questions. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at either of these. Remember, turn on the notification bell if you're watching this outside of Rumble, because we are not supported by the algorithm. That much I will tell you. But more important than any of that is that you please stay free.